and welcome back to the final round of the Nemesis Online Racing League Formula 2 Championship, which is going to take place at the Yas Marina circuit here. And it is good to be back after a couple of weeks where I've had sore throats and I had previous commitments last week. It's good to be back, at least for the season finale here at Abu Dhabi. And I'm really looking forward to this one, as we are about to hop into the one-shot qualifying. Now let's see if it's going to be, as usual, the three usual suspects. Woody, who's now called Ed GTS, obviously known as Woody. I'm just gonna call him Woody, because you guys know him as Woody as well. And then of course we've got Chazar, we've got Bolt, and it's good to see Anil here as well for the first time in a wee while here tonight. As now we're about to kickstart our first qualifying laps. So we're going to go on board with Hefford here into this very difficult left-hander, turn one. Very easy to track extend there, but as you can see, Hefford did not. And in F1, of course, it's flat out through this part of the track, but not so much in these F2 cars. Now they head down to the first sector split. A very difficult braking zone through that chicane. You need to do exactly what Chazza didn't do there, which is carry too much speed through the chicane and go a bit deep. And he's also gone a bit deep there at the hairpin. And now we have an absolute monstrous straight. Now Chazza opens up his DRS as he absolute heads down. He's doing 300 kilometers an hour now, well over 300 kilometers an hour. Brakes to about the 150 meter board as he now brakes down into this other awful chicane where that right hand bump, that sausage curb, so easy to hit it. And now once again we open up the DRS for the second DRS straight, and once again into another very difficult chicane. You want to be getting all over that curb on the right. Chazza outbrakes himself. He does, manages to keep it just about on track, but in the race I think we'll see a lot of drivers struggling through here, as there is a lot of understeer in these cars, as Chazza really is displaying. As we're going to go ahead to Dougie Aframan, actually, who seems to be quite a ways ahead of the field. It must be said as he now comes through the last few remaining corners. A very difficult right-hander, which is so easy to track extend. But Dougie's just taking it easy. It looks like he's absolutely driving within himself, and sometimes that is the best way to drive, as he takes it lovely through the final corner. And he's ninth. Well, that's fantastic. The timing was all over the place, and King No Skill is on pole. Followed by Woody, Chazza, Val, Hefford, Dougie, and I can't see who else, but we also did have quite a few drivers retiring throughout that session, or they were just disqualified, of course. And there we go. King No Skill on pole after... Well, that was very annoying. Woody second, Chazza third, fourth is Val, fifth Hefford, sixth Dougie, seventh Testmeister, eighth is Murcielago, ninth is JFD, 10th is Skull, 11th Chilica, 12th Danny, Bolt, and then Anil wrapping up the final position on the grid in P14. As Bolt is complaining about the track limits in the chat. Yeah, this is certainly a track where the track limits are very difficult to observe, but it's better having that than a new track being created, which is what we had at Austrian and Silverstone. So let's see. There's a Casper Dobell in the chat saying Chilikilla is my friend, by the way. Well, for your sake, I hope that he has a good race, mate. And Bolt saying I'll put a good show on for you. Well, I hope so. Just don't overtake everyone on the first lap, because then that's a bit boring, isn't it? So a nice progression through the field where I can keep up with your overtakes, that will be ideal. As of course, we've got the awful formation lap, which I've got to just now fill for about 2.5 minutes with absolute utter nonsense. So no, it looks like we will have qualifying today for the Japanese Grand Prix in just under 4 hours time now, actually, at 12 at midday my time. Was it 2 a.m. UK time? Oh, Bolt's on the grid. Oh, mate, you gotta have your cold tires now. But yeah, we should have some qualifying and the race later on today. As it looks like everything's cleared up in Japan, which is very, very nice to see. So Jake Marsh says, "Let's go, Bolt." I'm not sure if you've turned into Shannon the Cannon Briggs there with the good old "Let's go, champ," you know. As the drivers are on the second DRS straight now, they will eventually get to the grid after they go through about the 20,000 corners on this track, as Woody is well, certainly lighting up the rear end, that's for sure. He's absolutely gymkhaning around all of these walls, apparently, all of the corners, I should be saying. There's Chazza. Needs to make sure he doesn't go right at the back, as everyone seems to be having the field day. Oh boy, and there could have been a little bit of an incident there, but of course, it is only the formation lap, and thankfully we're coming to the end of it here. As King No Skill goes past half of the grid, who have been disqualified from the formation lap. And here we go, King No Skill, Eddie, oh sorry, not Eddie. Why did I say Eddie? Woody, Chazza, Val, Hefford, everyone's lining up at the back of the grid, and now Anel Tanovic is in his grid slot. And why are we looking at Dougie Aframed there? What on earth is going on? As now we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, 5, and lights out, and away we go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And what a start that is by Chazza, but Woody blocks him off very smartly there, and Woody is going to go into the lead this race as Val tries to make an ambitious move around the outside of Chazza there. But now Val's going to have to slot in right behind Chazza. I don't know why, but we've got Dougie Aframed in the lead, but that's not right whatsoever, as that was a fantastic start by Woody. Val looking to throw it up the inside of Chazza, but that's not going to work. Chazza did go deep into that chicane, so it might open up an opportunity for Val to throw it down the inside. And of course, in true Italian dive bomb fashion, that's exactly what he's did now. Chazza is all under siege from Val here in the early stages of this race, but it looks like nothing's going to happen, as also it looks to be action in front. As Val tries to go around the outside to get past Chazza, but that is not going to be able to happen, at least while there isn't any DRS. But he does get a very good exit here. Does Val on Chazza? He's still right up tucked in the slipstream of Chazza, but I don't think there'll be an overtaking opportunity here. Actually, he goes for the move. Chazza closes the door, and Val has got a 3-second time penalty, and also Chazza's had to cut a corner there to go back ahead of Val. So Val with a very aggressive move down there on the inside, and oh! There's been contact between King No Skill and Woody, and King No Skill has gone absolutely spinning around. Now he's all the way back down in 12, and just as I was looking before, now Bolt's up in 6. It's just had Murcielago hit the back of him. And now Anel has also found himself up in P7. Everything's starting to kick off here, as I need to sort out some things here. Here we go with interview. And there we go. Chillakilla, Bolt and Anil made up 6 and then 7 positions respectively. Absolutely fantastic start for those 3 drivers who started towards the back of the field, but utter disaster for King No Skill there after the contact at Woody, a corner which I don't think would usually see some contact or some spinning, so very odd. I'm sure we'll see what happened here, but I don't know why the lobby is bugging out for me with saying that Dougie Afroman is the leader. Of course that is actually not the case, but we've got some form of train here by Chillakilla, and Bolt with a fantastic move up the inside of Hereford, but Hereford does have that little bit of slipstream, and I can see in front Chazza is now looking to get past Val for P3, as Val did actually manage to get past. I'm not entirely sure where. I thought Chazza was ahead. He must have given the position back, as there's Dougie Afroman off on the side of the track, as now Bolt is looking to start to attack Chillakilla now for P4 of this race, and he started the back and he's only a number of seconds off the lead, so it just shows you how quick Bolt is. Oh, and Woody's lost it there on the exit curbing in the braking zone. And is that going to gift Val the opportunity to go into the lead? No, not quite, but Woody got all over the curb there, and that was a massive mistake, as Testameister picks up a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits on lap 2. That is not what you want, but that was quite a big moment for Woody, as we just went on board with him. Got on the curb, too much speed through that double apex right-hander. As now Chazza on the soft compounded tyres, I think we really should note here, against Val on the super soft tyres. He's really starting to pile on the pressure now. But it's very key that Woody is on those soft compounded tyres as well, as Bolt's now trying to look to get this move done on Chillakilla up the inside. He squeezes it out on the exit, and that is now a Russian time 3 and 4, and he now all of a sudden has DRS on his teammate Chazza in front, but Chazza is closing very rapidly on the Italian in P2, and is he going to make a move? No, he decides better of it. Oh, but out of nowhere Bolt has hit the back of his teammate. I'm not sure if there was a little bit of a push from behind on a very unusual thing to see Bolt make a mistake like that. Chazza has to cut along, but it's let Val back through, and one thing is for sure, Bolt does have some front wing damage, some major damage as of that, but Chazza just trying to set up a switch back there, but it's just not going to be possible in these F2 cars. There's just not enough grip. As now Chillakilla's looking to put some pressure on Chazza, but through this part of the track is very unlikely you're going to get an overtake. Saying that, Val runs off the track. This is going to compromise his last sector massively, as he runs massively wide over that curb. But Chazza just a little bit put off, but Val once again makes a mistake. And Chazza's going to go down the inside, as I'm nearly dying here, forcing each other miles and miles off the track. And all of a sudden Bolt's back up he's in P3. How on earth has that happened? And now Chazza and Val is once again side by side down the pit straight. Val has the inside line. Is he going to outbrake himself? He does ever so slightly, but just about manages it. Or does he not? Chazza got to go round the outside. Oh, what a move that is by Chazza. And now we have Hereford also joining in on the action for this. And all of a sudden, Bolt, after making contact with Chazza at the first chicane, or the second chicane at the end of the first DRS straight, now finds himself in P3 ahead of his teammate. But I tell you what, that is not going to be over, that's for sure. As Chazza is now right up the rear end of his teammate Bolt, and he's going to make sure he gets this move done down the inside at the first DRS zone. Is Bolt going to stick around the outside? No, not. He just tucks in behind. Does Bolt, and there we go. He gets a very good exit does Bolt. But Chazza defending the inside line there. Bolt trying to go the long way around. Is he going to be able to do it? We're not getting a fantastic camera angle. Chazza defends the inside here. And it looks like he's going to give his teammates some room. They're giving each other a lot of respect here. The two, and this is fantastic battling, but Chazza with the inside line there just about wins it out. But Val then steeps down the inside, and no way, they're going to go side by side through here. No, Val just about switches in, but Bolt nearly goes down the inside there, and Val, they somehow just about survive, but now, is Bolt going to go around the outside of all of them? Bolt just goes past all of them. What's happened here? Chazza, I'm not sure what happened there. Val sent it out and down the inside. At some corner. Oh, what is going on? This is utter carnage between these lot here. And all of a sudden, Adol finds himself well within this scrap in P6 here. Moved up 8 positions. Fantastic race for him so far. But speaking of fantastic races, it's been about inch perfect and centimetre perfect by this man Woody Racing so far, of course. Ed GTS. He's had a fantastic race and leads by 5.5 seconds over second place Chili Killer, who's also driven a very, very solid race. But Bolt now once again finding himself under pressure here by his teammate Chazza. Bolt suffering from that loss of front, well, a little bit of front wing damage, I should say. A couple of laps ago when he hit the rear end of his teammate Chazza. But now once again, Chazza has the DRS. He has the slipstream and he's gaining on his teammate massively. Is he going to go down the inside? Not quite. But now Al also going to go up the inside of Al. Very comfortable move there with the DRS assistance. Is he going to just about hold it on? Yes, he is. But now we're going to go back to this battle in front as Bolt almost seemingly lets Chazza through. That. As Chazza actually then locks up, which is not what certainly not what he wanted to do. And now Bolt is all over the rear end of him again, but through this part of the track, with Chazza having a clean run and no traffic harassing him, really, I think he should be able to extend his margin, seeming that he has a little bit more front wing than Bolt. But Bolt is actually sticking with him quite tremendously here. It must be said, but there we go on the exit, where you just need a little bit more downforce, carries that out. But there's a major difference between these two drivers. Bolt is on a wheel, and Chazza is on a pad. As Bolt loses the rear end quite significantly, and I think it's very noticeable for anyone who's played this game that there is quite a difference between those who use a pad and a wheel in these F2 cars in particular. As Val makes the first pit stop of this race on lap number 6. He was having a very good race, and then some squabbling with Chazza, Bolt, and well, seemingly everyone on the grid, just resulting in him dropping down the field behind Anil. And he will go onto the soft compounded tyre, I assume, until the end, well, for the rest of this race. I mean, he can only go on the soft tyre, so don't know what I'm waffling on about. And there we go. There we can see Bolt's little piece of front wing there. But I think it's very noteworthy that Chazza in the last the last lap a bit has started to gain on Chiller Killer here, so could be very interesting to see. But at the moment, Chazza is just towing his teammate around, and well, I think Bolt, considering his front wing damage, will be very happy for Chazza to be doing this. As Bolt loses the rear end out of that corner there. And well, after what was a spectacular start, it seems like everything is calmed down a little bit, but it seems as if Chazza really is struggling to come to grips with this car. As we've got, well, the person who's not actually in the lead, Doug Afferman, into the pits. I don't know why it does that, but Woody, 5.5, well, just over a second in the lead, as it looks like Chiller Killer is actually starting to gain in, and Chazza is actually, I was saying he was gaining on Chiller Killer, but looks like Chiller Killer's pace is quite impressive at the moment. It's good to see that Chiller Killer is performing well. I'm not too sure if he's going to take part in the F1 series, but if he can continue and carry over that form to the F1 series, that'll be fantastic to see. So it's always nice to see fresh faces challenging for race victories and podiums to spice everything up. Certainly not going to be last year where it was just me and Chazza and then occasionally Danny fighting for race victories and podiums. I think there, oh, and of course Ragnar. I think there was was there only 2 races which Chaz and I didn't win? It was something absolutely ridiculous like that, and it, you know. And then in this F2 series, it's just been the Russian time domination by once again Chazza and Bolt. But Bolt said, "Nah, Chaz, I've had enough of your slow pace, mate." He's going to try and go and get past Chazza, but no, he just thinks better of it. He thinks Chazza has the better pace through this part of the track. So he's just going to let him go, but I'm going to assume that one of these guys are going to pit on this lap. So we have some yellow flags somewhere. In the track is Hereford trying to be very aggressive on King No Skill. Of course, the man who did get pole is what's happened here? Bolt has got past Chazza. I'm not entirely sure what's happened here, but it seems as if Chazza is struggling significantly at the moment, and I assume no, of course they're on the I'm a silly sausage. They're on the soft compounded tyre, so that so they ain't gonna pit for a little while yet, probably another couple of laps. But it seems as if Chazza is struggling quite a little bit more than his teammate Bolt at the moment. As we'll go back to this battle for 6th place between King No Skill and Hereford. And it looks like King No Skill is starting to eke out that margin. There's a lot of drivers now starting to pick up some time penalties around this track, which on this F1 game is notorious for track penalties, because it is so easy to just cut a corner through those chicanes. As speaking of cutting some corners at chicanes, that's exactly what Chaz is doing. But he, of course, oh, what's happened here? Bolt's in the wall. I'm not sure what's happened here. Bolt is in the wall, and now Anil is up into 4th place. What's happened there between the 2 Russian time drivers? And now King No Skill as well. Boy oh boy, and now Chaz has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. What's gone on there? It seems as if there was a sizable margin between the Russian time blokes. That's why I was not exactly paying attention to them. And then I see Chaz going off the circuit and Bolt in the wall. Wonder what happened there. I'm sure we'll be filled in between races. But controversy there, that's for sure. As Bolton's now sitting behind our pole man, King No Skill, who's done quite well to find himself back up in the P6 after he's facing the wrong way earlier on, and now in comes Bolt into the pit lane, and I assume he's going to get a new front wing as he slows down for that 60km/h speed limit in the pit lane. And there we go, he's going to go on to some brand spanking new super soft tyres, and indeed he's going to get a new front wing. So it'll be interesting to see just how quick his pace is. He must have had some sort of penalty as well, because that seemed abnormally long, as I was not exactly paying attention to the pit stop like perhaps I should have. But now King No Skill, as he drops back behind Hereford. I think he has. He might have made a mistake somewhere, but now he's going to chuck it up the inside here. Is King No Skill on Hereford, and he should get the move done. He very cheekily blocks the middle of the track to make sure that Hereford can't get any sort of switch back And Hefty, though, does have the slipstream, but Keno Skill expertly defends the inside line, and you're not going around the outside there. And now Keno Skill up into 5th place. As we should start to see some pit stops in the next lap or so. Whereabouts are these blokes? Chaz not going to come into the pits. Let's see if Anil does. Anil doesn't. And they've got Dougie Afferman, who's actually not in 5th place, which is certainly annoying. There's Bolt, I just believe, just got past JFD for P11, and I'm sure that Bolt is absolutely flying. You can see how much more speed he's taking through that corner than what we've seen from the leaders previously. So this is going to be very interesting to see how quick Bolt is on these super soft tyres. As now Hereford and King No Skill are at it once again, with Hereford losing a spot to King No Skill after we just seen King No Skill defend very expertly from. Sorry, so I wonder what's going on here. But now, most importantly, Hereford is in the slipstream of King No Skill, and he's going to go try the outside route here. Interesting. Is this going to work out? He's going to look for a big old switchback, but King No Skill absolutely parks it on the apex to make sure that he can't do it. Once again, some extremely cheeky defending there by King No Skill, and it looks like it's going to secure his P5 for the time being over Hereford, but Hereford's trying to go around the outside, but as I said on the previous lap, you're not going to be able to do that. As I think a big shout out is deserved to Anel Tanovic here. First time he's been on the grid for some time, and now he's 3.5 seconds as Hereford gets on the curb and somehow keeps it out of the wall, as we now have Chiller Killer and Chaz in the pits. But yeah, Anel, who hasn't been on the grid for quite some time, doing a tremendous job in actually a net P4. So big shout out to Anel Tanovic. If only he was on the grid a little bit more, we could have really seen his true pace and true potential in this championship. But hopefully he can do that in the F1 League in the upcoming months. As Chiller Killer comes out right behind Hereford here, and what's going on here? Hereford just cleanly goes around the outside. Sorry, Chiller Killer just goes cleanly around the outside of Hereford, but Chaz is back out, coming through that chicane now as Bolt just set the fastest lap of the race, as he is 7 seconds behind Val. So I think that might be a battle that we're going to see in the coming laps, which I expect to be quite spicy. And I'm sure Val would actually take losing his spot here to Bolt, because of course that would mean he'd be on a reverse grid pole for the sprint race. Oh, and contact there between Chiller Killer and Doug Gaffman. I must say, I don't know what on earth is going on. Obviously, I don't think it's obviously Dougie's fault, but well, quite honestly, okay, I don't think that's Dougie actually driving his car. I really, nah, absolutely not. So I don't know what's going on with Dougie. But we have Woody and Anel now in the pits to put on the super soft compounded tyres, as Woody safely makes it out the tunnel. I tell you what, Chili Killer has certainly closed that gap having tried the undercut here, the gap is 2.5 seconds, and it was, well, 5.5. So it just shows you how powerful the undercut is at this circuit. As Chazza is retired, where on earth has that happened? Chazza has retired from the race, and whereabouts is that? Has Chazza just straight disconnected? I wonder if he has, because his car hasn't actually retired. Or has he just done it? Is he just rage quit? I'm not entirely sure what's happened here to Chazza. I'm sure he'll say in the chat, because I know he does watch. But now Val 2 seconds behind Altanovic, who's now up into P3. I was mentioning how he's doing a fantastic job, and now he's on track for a podium here. But Bolt certainly closing that gap on Val. Last time we really checked it was about 7 seconds. Now it's 4.5, and with, well, 5 laps left. Let's see what Bolt can do about that margin to the Italian, who, if you couldn't tell, was born on the 26th of the 10th, 1992. But now with Chazza out of the mix, it's opened up everything in this race, that's for sure. Certainly opened up a podium position for An Altanovic. And one thing's for sure. That I don't think there's going to be too much action in the remaining laps of this race. The action we will see is with this man Bolt and Val. As I better put it on the off-board cam, because then yeah. But Bolt, of course, championship winner here in the F2 series. He's going to be looking to continue that championship winning form into the F1 series, because I assume that he's going to be taking part in it, as I will be commentating. I'm not sure if this is all official, but I know I've agreed to be commentating for the F1 series, which will be taking part on the usual time for the F1 series on the Sunday. For the Sunday night for you guys in Europe, Monday morning for me, which is a lot better than waking up or staying up all night on a Sunday morning. So we have that to look forward to, and I think it will be a real showdown between Bolt and Chazza in that series. So I'm just gonna have a look. Has Dougie Afroman's Dougie Afroman's AI's car's been spun out there by Bolt? How dare you? But sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my my voice at the moment. Probably because I've been up for 20 and a bit hours. But Bolt has now got closing the gap to Val, just over 2 seconds here. As it must be said, Woody's really extended that gap to Chillakiller. Now about 4.5 seconds, and of course when he did pit it was 2.5. As let's see if we can give you some information on the Yep, here we go, the 2019 championship. Who are actually the drivers going to be? So yes, well, the actual season starts next week. Oh, that is very, very exciting. So round number one at the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit at Albert Park. Of course, where I'm from, where I live in Melbourne. On Sunday the 20th October at 9:30 PM Central European Time. Of course, that'll be 10:30 British summertime. As I don't know why we're on that camera angle, but here we go. Finally, some action on track here as we're just heading on to the penultimate lap. Now for these two drivers, as Val's made an awful mistake coming out of that last corner. Is Bolt going to try to go around the outside, but Val with the inside line should cover it off, but he goes a little bit too deep, does Val. And Bolt, with his superior grip on those tyres, is going to get past and up into P4. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's a little bit of a cheeky dive bomb somewhere here by Val. The never say die attitude of Val is quite infamous in this league, that's for sure. And if he can get a good enough exit out of this corner, he will have DRS. But Bolt has said he shall. And absolutely bolted off. That was absolutely unintentional, by the way. But I tell you what, Bolt here. The gap is 4 seconds down Altanovic, and with about, well, a lap and a bit to go, let's see if he could do anything, or could do something special, but I doubt it, unless there is a mistake from the Bosnian. As I've just had Skull say in the chat saying, no, it was not long. I'm not entirely sure what you're referencing here as Bolt and Val struggle to make the braking zone for that corner. The double apex right-hander there. But, very exciting that we'll be bringing you the, that for you next week. That Bolt joke. Oh, no. It was absolutely unintentional. I did actually not mean that. Trust me. I'm not I'm not going to be able to come up with. Listen, I'm a little bit tired, alright? Leave me alone, but I was doing quite well here to stick with Bolt for the moment. As I'm being accused of lying here by the chat. The chat is attacking me. Where's Nightbot to Thanos you when I need it? No, just joking. Val has actually done a very good job here. Now with the DRS, he's actually close on this lap than what he was on the previous lap. Is Val, are Bolt's tyres just starting to go off at the perfect time here for the Italian, as he's got to think about a launch down the inside, but he thinks better of it where he's going to get the double dosage of DRS. And let's see just how good his exit is. It looks like it's a pretty darn good exit here. And now Val in the slipstream. Is Val going to be able to get the move done? He's going to have to go the long way around. He's got his car a little bit ahead, but no, Bolt goes very, very deep and makes sure the Italian can't get past. Good defensive driving there by Bolt. And I do know that most drivers have penalties here, but Woody with an absolute dominant victory here in Yas Marina, and that has absolutely blinded me. Jesus wept. What on earth was that? As Chiller Killer comes home in P2, a fantastic drive as well. But Bolt and Val are going at it here. Let's see Bolt doing some Val defending corners, which you don't need to. But you know, we're going to see a big old dive bomb here by the Italian. And he absolutely launches at the final corner. And he spun out. Oh dear, I know Bolt had a penalty for sure. But how much penalties does he have? Adol Tanovic finishes in P3. Fantastic result there by the Bosnian. really impressive performance as Bolt finishes a P4 after Val with the audacious attempt, of course, at the final corner. Ends up in some contact, and he goes spinning around Sebastian Vettel style. Hereford finishes P6. King No Skill 7th. Murcielago now finishes P8 with Testo short to finish P9. And Dougie's AI. Don't tell me we're going to have to watch him for a whole lap. And yeah, Skull, Val certainly did reset his car very quickly, which I agree, I don't think that should be allowed, but that's what Val did, so I think there's a discussion to be had amongst the chat. And there we go, the race is over. And a very impressive win by Woody, or GTS, whatever he wants to go by now. And there we go, final classifications here for the feature race at the Yas Marina circuit, with Woody Racing winning from Chillikilla 2nd, and Altanovich 3rd, Bolt 4th, Val 5th, Hereford 6th, Kino Skill in 7th, Murcielago in 8th, 9th Testo, 10th Dougie Affman, JFD 11th, Danny 12th, 13th, Skull, and last of all is Chazza. As Ed can't, well, I can't remember who that is in terms of drivers. I think it is Woody. Oh yeah, of course it is. That is why his name's is Ed GTS. Says, still effing hate this track. Yeah, it's certainly not the best track. In fact, he's absolutely dead awful. It is one of the tracks that needs to be absolutely binned off the calendar. Once again, a classic example of where you have all of these tight and twisty corners before the two main overtaking opportunities on track. So it's very, even with the long straights, hard to overtake, because before, you know, the start of the straight, chicane, hairpin, and then in between the two things, the chicane, which actually is alright, but then at the end of the, it's just an awful track design. And then through the last sector you can't do anything because it's all single file. Yeah, shock. Another Tilke track, which is absolutely awful. And thank Christ the abomination that is the Sochi Grand Prix circuit is going to be gone, because that is an absolutely ridiculously awful track. So we've got Murcielago on pole. Speaking of Murcielago, he nearly does a little bit of a cheeky spin there, but he's got reverse grid pole. Does Murcielago. King No Skill 2nd. He started 1st and 2nd now in these two races. Hereford 3rd, Val 4th, Bolt 5th, Anil 6th, Chillikilla 7th, Woody or Ed in 8th. 9th Testo, 10th WJFD, 11th Skull, 13th, and Shaz is going to be looking to put on a show for us, starting all the way down in P14. as we're oh dear, so we're gonna have so where on earth is Murcielago gone? What is going on here? This race is an absolute shambles. Oh dear, is Jake Marsh in the chat saying, Bolt, Bolt, he's a man. If he can't win, then Woody can. Oh, for goodness sake. That is the kind of stuff that I needed at this time in the morning. Would have been up for, what, nearly 21 hours now. So, thank you, Jake, for that. It's Dougie Afroman, there we go. Started on pole position here at the hairpin. What a fantastic game this is. But now we have 5 lights, and lights out, away we go here for the sprint race here at the Aston Marina circuit. And looks like it's been a very solid start there by Murcielago, but he certainly has braked a little bit early as King No Skill was looking to get down the inside, but I think that was Bolt charging through on the inside and a couple of drivers there. And looks like he's going to be setting up a move to get past Val here on the chicane. As Val gets caught up on the exit curb, he's going to have to go around the outside. But I think Woody sticks his car there, so that's not possible. As we have, who's that in the background, spinning around. I'm not entirely sure who that was. As Woody and a couple other cars behind, getting all squabbled up and tangled up amongst each other. Hereford and Adel. Oh, this is going to be an absolute madness, as we're going to be about nearly, I reckon, about 5 wide down the pit straight. I don't know what on earth is going here. Look at this. 3 and 2 wide, and Woody outbrakes himself with Hereford the inside line. Hereford with the inside line, but gets caught on that curb, as then Woody is able to get past. Hereford's lost out to Anil as well, and then is he going to lose out to Chiller Killer? No, what on earth is happening here? And Bolt is still behind Val, but now Murcielago is behind both Val and Bolt, with Bolt capitalising fantastically there on that, as now King No Skill is up into P1 of this race after he's gotten past Murcielago, as we missed it all in the carnage. And now Woody is past Murcielago, so Murcielago is just falling backwards in this race so far, as now Anil Tanovic is looking to get past Murcielago. Murcielago struggling absolutely everywhere there, absolutely sliding out of the way of Anil Tanovic here in the battle for P5, and Anil's going to quite comfortably put it up the inside at the final corner and get that move done on Murcielago for P5. And now Val is behind King No Skill, and I really wish that this timing would not happen. Is what's going on here? Val's, I don't know why, what's going on? He's just staying on the curbs. Val, get off the curbs, it's slowing you down, pal. As now Bolt's looking to capitalise by going around the outside the chicane. Is he going to be able to go? He's going to have to go the long way around. No, where on earth is everyone? I can't see. The camera angles are awful. Where's Val? Val's all the way back here. No, that's not even Val. Somehow Woody's up and past them both. Bolt's all the way back here. I don't know what on earth happened, because the camera angles were all over the place. I couldn't see a single thing. But Bolt is down in P5, and Woody's now attacking Val. He's going to look for the monumental switchback, and what a switchback that is by Woody Racing here. Val squeezing him right up as far as he can to the right hand side of the track, but I don't think Woody is going to mind that too much, as he's going to go for some sort of switchback here through the chicane. Is he going to try dive it up the inside of this left-hander? Val sees it coming from a mile away, defends it, but gets a very, very poor run out there, and Woody's glued on the back of Val's car. Now Val has to use that inside line. Oh, that could have been absolutely disastrous here for these two drivers, but they somehow survive here, as now Bolt is going to be looking to get past Val, as now he has Anil behind him, and Shazza is now also looking to get past, well, looking to catch up to the back of this train that we have behind Woody Racing here, as Val and Bolt were going hammer and tong once more, and now Val is on the defensive from Anil Tanovic. We're missing all the action here, I do apologise. Anil trying to go around the outside, but Val just about manages to hold on, and now Chillakill's gone past. This car's absolutely coming out of nowhere, and this is fantastic stuff here. In the early stages of this sprint race here at the Asmarine Circus, Anil just brakes a little bit too early there. Now Chazza is right on the back of this, so we have just about the whole field. That is, how many cars is this? 5 cars separated by about, well, within a second of each other, except for Val. He's just gone and ruined it. But now he's on the defensive from Chillakiller here for P5. Is Chillakiller gonna look to make a move? No, he certainly decides better of it. Anil Tanovic was certainly laying the brakes there. But now Chillakiller with a very, very good run. Very good exit there, and he's going to look to get past Val here, but he's going to have to go the long way around. But it won't matter, he's gotten past already. With now Ed has lost out to Bolt. Here's Bolt. It's moved up into P3 here. Bolt is having an absolutely fantastic race, and the gap between him and the leader, King No Skill, is 1.5 seconds. Of course, Doug Affman is not the leader of the Grand Prix. Oh, sorry, of the sprint race. And there we go. That's where Doug Affman should be, in P13, not in P1 or wherever else they've been putting him. So, yeah, but Bolt's already got that gap down to just over a second now. Bolt showing absolutely tremendous pace in this race. And he certainly has to be favourite, as Chazza's just got a penalty for cutting a corner and gaining a position. But he hasn't gained a position. What? Oh, look how quickly Bolt is all over the back of King No Skill here. King No Skill very squirmish on the rear end there as well. And now surely, as now Bolt is certainly well within striking distance here. Now with the DRS, and now with the slipstream, he's starting to close and close and close on King No Skill here. And there's nothing King No Skill can do about it. Bolt goes up the inside. Oh, and Ed Woody Racing comes out of nowhere, completely outbrakes himself, and has to take avoiding action there to make sure that there is no contact between them lot. But now Bolt once more attacking King No Skill. He's got to try to go around the outside here of King No Skill. Is he going to get it done? These camera angles are awful, but Bolt manages to hang it around the outside. Does a fantastic job there. And now all of a sudden Woody and King No Skill are side by side, and now Ed GTS has managed to hold around the outside. Fantastic driving by these two, as Bolt struggling to keep the car on track through that corner. We've seen so many drivers struggling through those corners. There's just another driver right there. Chazza, amongst all that squabbling, has found himself past Anil Tanovic for P6. Now Val trying to cut the inside the final corner on King No Skill. It's all kicking off here amongst these drivers in this final race of the season, the sprint race. And we've got another penalty for Anil Tanovic. So, I would prefer to be in this camera angle more times than not, but often we do get absolutely awful camera shots from that, so most of the time we do just have to use the onboard. But Woody Racing now is looking to take the attack to Bolt here. And oh, he does a dummy, and he's absolutely sent it down the inside of his head. Is he going to get the move done? Oh, fantastic move there by Ed. But now it's all about the exit. Is Bolt's exit going to be good enough? And quite honestly, not a fantastic effort, but with the DRS it is very powerful down this back straight. Is Ed going to be able to defend the inside line? Yes, he does. He outbrakes himself. Does he though? Yes, he does it. Oh, I think he's gone off into the wall. He's off in the wall, isn't he? Yes, he is. Disaster for Ed there, as Bolt managed to get back ahead as Ed had outbroken himself. Speaking of outbreaking himself, Chili Killer getting on that curb and making a little bit of slight contact there with the rear-ender Bolt. And what on earth is happening here? As Val is absolutely everywhere, trying to overtake King No Skill. Oh, and Val breaks. Well, it certainly looked like it was very early, and that certainly caught Chazza out. And Chaz has got a 3-second time penalty. I'm not sure why, when he literally didn't gain anything. And as Val, Val absolutely, oh dearie me, Val just defends the inside just blindly. Oh, this is absolutely chaos here. And Anil now gets caught on the curb. And now Anil trying to go up the inside of Woody. Chazza making it 3 wide. That's not gonna work. And Anil Tanovic goes spinning around. I think that is literally the definition of yeeting it. There by Chazza. He's just enjoying himself in the final race, and well, I think it's fair to say he was mainly at fault for that incident. There's Anil's had enough, and he's left the session. And now Chazza gets comfortably overtaken by Woody, or Ed. As now, after all the chaos, I think everything's calming down. Or not! Chazza's gonna go right around the outside, is he? Oh no, there's a car right in the middle of the track. What on earth? Who's that? I think it was Doug Yafferman's AI car. But just as I thought all the action was calming down, Chazza then tries to go around the outside of Woody. Oh, he launches up the inside. Chazza quite clearly is just enjoying himself here, just trying to absolutely yeet it. And now Chazza is retired from this race, and I think he might be going to get some sleep before the qualifying watch along in about 2 hours' time. Probably a good call. As we still have some action here with the super laggy Murcielago. As yeah, we'll stay on board with these lads. And Jake Marsh, you're absolutely right. Who needs coffee when you have this action? Oh boy, wow, his skull has absolutely gone walloping into the wall there. Lost control. I was looking at the comments from Jake Marsh, and I just seen out the corner of my eye this blue car going right into the wall, and somehow he's not out the race. Somehow, Colin, how are you not out the race, lad? Oh boy. But now Val, we're going to have some more action. Oh, Val weaving everywhere, trying to put King No Skill off, even though he's nowhere near him. Some interesting tactics by the Italian. There's everyone getting all over the curbs, meaning they can't slow down for the corner. Lads, get off of the curbs and you might be able to slow down. As now Val's he's got a fantastic run out of that corner. He's gonna chuck it down the inside, is he? He is. King No Skill still there on the outside though. And Val gets the move down up the inside. But he's gonna have to defend from King No Skill here. As he tries to go around the outside, but Val just about defends it, forces King No Skill wide. And King No Skill's gonna come back in, they're gonna slash tyres, and Val is off into the wall. As now Ed is passed. Oh, and he nearly loses it as well. If he just went a little bit wider there, that would have been an absolute disaster for Ed. As those curbs at that sort of speed are absolutely deadly. And yeah, I think Jake Marsh makes a very good point. What has this race become? I don't know. It's just become a complete and utter madness. That's for sure. So I'd like to see the chat after this race. I'm sure it's going to be quite entertaining. So we're watching Super Laggy Murcielago here in P7. Although his internet seems to be a little bit better than usual. So that's good to see. But I must say, it's been fairly comfortable here for Bolt. In P1 leading by 4.5 seconds from Chiller Killer, who's then ahead of King No Skill by 6 seconds. Fairly comfortable at the moment. In P3 is King No Skill as well. He has a 2-second margin to Woody, who's chasing him down though. You can see Ed really giving it everything he's got here, really pushing the car to its limits to try and get past, or to try to catch up. I must say, he just about does that absolutely perfectly, because if it goes a little bit wider, he's clipping that curb and he's getting sent absolutely to Narnia. As Skull is retired from this race, not entirely sure why. Maybe for, well, maybe because he just didn't want to race anymore. I assume that's why. And he's going to become our third retirement for the day. As all the gaps are very, very spread out at the moment. So there isn't much action to call whatsoever. So I'm not entirely sure if you want to chuck me some questions in the chat. I don't know about the F1 later, or in a couple of hours really. I don't know. Just chuck me anything in the chat whilst we can here in this season finale, which really has been dominated by the Russian time boys of Bolt and Chazza, but Bolt's just been the more consistent and ultimately quicker driver, and that's led to him winning the championship, well, rather comfortably in the end over Chazza, who I believe he did miss a couple of races. I can't exactly remember. That certainly was a long time ago now. And of course, Woody Racing did put on a fantastic display throughout the whole entire season to try and take that battle to the Russian time boys, and he did on numerous occasions. But it was always just Bolt coming out on top far too many times if for these guys to make the championship competitive. And I'm sure that in the F1 League, which starts next week, that they're going to be giving it everything. Jake Mars asking, is there going to be another season of this? Not these F2 cars. There might be one for the next F2 cars. Yep, as Skull says in the chat, F1 will be on Sunday. And yep, Toby and Colin will be both in that. And I'll be commentating as well. And I assume you live in the UK, so 10:30 British summertime for you on Sunday night is when that will take place. And well, I certainly won't be as relaxed commentating as this. Will be certainly a much more much more serious commentary because, well, in truth, the racing hasn't been too serious tonight, so I think you can only be as serious as the drivers on track. Come on, I'm the commentator for the F1 league. I'm not racing. So, yeah, that's been confirmed for a number of weeks now. I will be commentating the F1 league, so you can catch all the F1, the Nemesis Online Racing League F1 Championship action on my channel. So, if you're not subscribed already, do subscribe. No, I'm not racing. I can't be asked racing with no racing line and all that. But here we go. We have some action as Ed now is going to go down the inside of King No Skill here at the chicane. And he's going to look for some sort of switchback. Is King No Skill is going to be able to get it? He's got a very good exit here, and now he's got to try and fight for that inside line. Is he? No, he might be able to just go clean around the outside here. But no, Ed does a fantastic job. Or does he do a fantastic job? No, he just about does enough, does Ed, to get up into P3. It looked like for all it was worth it, he outbroke himself. But no, he did not. And now it's going to be quite fitting that our championship winner, Bolt, is going to lead us across the line and be the winner for the last race in the F2 Championship, as Bolt wins in Yas Marina in the sprint race comfortably from Chiller Killer in second place. And now we're going to have Ed finish in third place here from King No Skill or not. King No Skill somehow finishes P2 because Chiller Killer and Ed had penalties. Vel comes home in fifth. Hereford's going to come home in sixth, followed by Testo and Murcielago, who goes up into P7, and then JFD is some ways behind. So yeah, been Alcona won't be racing as well. I'm just a bit bored of the F1 games, to be honest with you. It's so yeah, I'd much rather do this than race, to be honest with you. So that's what I've decided to do. That no longer racing, and that I will from now on pretty much be commentating. As Chas has just messaged me saying, I've licked and sent so much, call me a postman. So, and, well, certainly from his display today, I think I could call you a postman. And well, thank you, Jake, for that very kind comment in the chat. I don't think I've done a fantastic job today, to be honest with you. I've been all over the place. My voice was half shot for most of it. I don't know why, because my voice is absolutely like, I'm not sick or anything, so I'm not too sure why. But yeah, next week will be a lot more serious and not as casual. But shock, it's a Russian time winning, and he goes by the name of Bolt. TBD, Team Black Diamond, as he wins here in Yas Marina, and it concludes what's been a thoroughly dominant performance by him in the championship. Jesus, he takes the fastest lap by some margin from Chiller Killer there. As now Jake is saying, "Let's go, champ!" In the chat. That's what we love to see, some shattered the cannon action in the chat. But it's been a thoroughly enjoyable Formula 2 championship. Been a pity that I haven't been able to commit to all of the races, but we will all catch you next week for what is certain to be a very exciting F1 championship, which of course kicks off at the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. And until then, thank you all for what has been a fantastic season of Formula 2 action, and congratulations once more to our championship winner, Bolt. So yeah, and until next time, we will of course, I hope you have a good week. And what was it, 10:30 Central European Time? No, sorry, 9:30 Central European Time, 10:30 British Summer Time. We'll see you next time, and it's been me, Niblo331, and goodbye.